finding a girl that is. May be an option, but eventually you guys traditionally would want to move in together, and at some point she's going to have to cave into how you run your household, being that unless you're willing to make these changes.
I do that.
Run your house like you run your mouth. I heard that. Let's get it, y'all. What's good, Jay? That's all I was saying. I can't speak for no other man. I'm the head of my household. If a chick don't like it, she can pack her bags and leave.
Choose yourself, King.
That's it. But most chicks, you know, they like you said, they get in line unless they don't respect you. Now, if a chick don't respect you in your own spot, whether it's a 1-bedroom apartment or a mansion,
you gotta let her
that
go.
man who has to deal with that. You can have 99 problems. That shouldn't be one.
That's the
y'all talking about relevant bullshit right now, though. That ain't got nothing to do with what we were talking about.
Damn, why it gotta be bullshit though? Why can't it just be something we talking about?
Because y'all are.
Okay, well, we ready to get on topic then.
Let's get on topic. It's hard work, y'all.
It is, for sure.
What part
it's fun for me.
It's fun for me too. But I do know, like I said, I just noticed the trend. Whenever we own it, if I don't have nobody else there on it, it's gonna be y'all two double teaming me. I noticed
because I seem to think that Taj has a intelligent way of looking at things. What's wrong with that?
And I don't. Okay.
And the feeling is mutual, not just the feeling. The thought is mutual. And I've said it on the podcast.
The intelligence is a subjective opinion.
Like I said, this is the problem. We're not on that one. I'm gonna wait till we get to that one.
What up,
I promise you, that's a major problem, especially in our community. We have a major issue when it comes to that.
So what?
I appreciate the acknowledgement, Solo.
No problem. We have what's the biggest problem? What's the problem?
Yeah. Words, aka lying to fit their agendas. Hell. Okay. What time we at now? 4. I guess I'll give it one more minute. Try to give a little bit more time for people to come in here.
LaMelo Ball. We got LaMelo Ball. Had a preseason game last night. What up, LaMelo? How many points? He dropped 28. Oh, snap. All right.
This smile right here is fucking funny, boy. He be transitioning from LaMelo to Melo. And I'm pretty sure this is that damn kid.
Melo said he dropped 28. He done dropped 4 comments already. Melo just hit 5. Bradford say the Bible never changed. What changed is people twisting the words, a.k.a. lying. He put that in parentheses. hell. And he put the hell in parentheses. All right, Bradford, that's the first topic we chopping up. Because I brought
All
mine.
right.
You got it.
All right. So I'm about to just go ahead and this is mine. What's up, Karen? I'm about to go ahead and go through really quick. So, Golson, really quick, what all the topics are. Um, so as you see, the first one, we kind of touched on this in the morning show, and it kind of got, got a little decent buzz. And a couple of y'all said y'all would love to see all of us react to this one on the Sunday panel. So this is it. So has the Bible been tampered with? Because it originally started from a clip that Charleston White was talking about. And he said he went low. He only said that it's about, I think he said 2 to 5% of it he think is true. Now, I think that's some bullshit, but hey, we're gonna discuss it together. And then we got next the attack on masculinity. And for me to put more context on this, they already don't jump me before we even came in here. Just let y'all know. So basically what I mean by this is that there isn't and it's not even just black people, it's just all together. And when there is an attack on masculinity, by default, there's an attack on femininity. So they basically, coexist together because one can't do without the other. I'll explain more of what I mean by that as we get into it. But after that, we got Governor Newsom because in case some of y'all isn't aware, Governor Newsom recently signed a bill that basically is granting some reparations for people that are residents of California for, I don't know what this, I don't want to misquote it. I'll let Taj handle that more, but I do know he signed the bill for California residents. And all of the criteria and stuff like that, he'll be able to explain that better than I would. And lastly, we're gonna dive into one of the things I think is a major issue with us is that we can't. This is black people as a whole, got nothing to do with the gender at all. We cannot be held accountable by ourselves or by other people. Damn sure not with other people. And I'm not necessarily against that, but as a whole, we can't be held accountable. So that's our 4 topics, and we're gonna go ahead and get started. This nigga right here don't got what's up, Talia? This nigga done got started with this apology shit.
All in.
Ollie, what's good? So now, like I said, some of y'all was here during the morning show when I first introduced this topic, and we had a video playing with it. So some of y'all disagree, some of them agree. We're gonna address this one on the Sunday panel, and as y'all know, I have 2 other intelligent, respectable minds that's gonna do it with me. So I'm gonna open this thing up first. I kind of already briefly, talked with kind of both of y'all, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the ladies first. Oh, there go T Miles. Yes, sir. I'm glad you came in here, sir. But anyways, Solo, I'm gonna start with you. In your opinion, do you feel like there's a possibility that maybe the Bible was somewhat tampered with?
So what do you mean tampered with? What exactly are you saying?
Some of the scriptures could have been altered, changed to a certain liking so that they can make it lean towards something that they wanted to say. Anything.
I would say a few things. So we know that the original Hebrew text was translated. So if you say that the Bible was translated from one language to another, that's historically proven. We know that. Now, when we go to languages, do you agree that there may be a word in one language and there isn't an exact equivalence to another language? So you have to be a little creative to make sure that what it's saying in Hebrew matches what it says in Greek, for example. So, of course, the authors were required to do things like that because maybe there isn't a Hebrew word for this Greek word, whatever. So, as far as that, yes. Then you have a period of time where people from different religions started translating the Bible. So now you have Hebrews translating the Bible. Then you have Christians translating the Bible. All these, whoever else is using the practicing the Abrahamic religions. Now it has already been translated for these different purposes. So if you're saying, has it been tampered with, as in it doesn't say exactly what is said in Hebrew in the English version, then of course it's been changed to fit the language of English, right? But I think that if you're saying tamper with, as in they have changed the story, I don't think they have changed the story, but I do think that when you have certain, I'll just say Christians who have translated the Bible and continue to translate the Bible, there is like more, I would say more potential for them to change exactly what it says to fit their agenda, especially now. Maybe not back then, it wasn't as bad as it is now. But if you go through this Bible and you see some of the translations, the way it's so watered down, it would be hard for you to follow what exactly is going on. And I do agree that that is part of a hidden agenda, right? So if you're meaning that in that manner, has it been tampered with? Yes. But as far as like the story that's happening in the Bible, to me, if you read it, it's still pretty clear. What they haven't tampered with it that much, where the story that I think God put before us is still being told and we're able to read it. The issue is that this is a little bit off the topic. A lot of people haven't read the Bible. They have only read passages. They don't know the whole, they haven't read it as a book, as a novel or something like that. They read it for inspiration, and that doesn't give them the full story of what's going on. So that's a little bit off the topic, but I did want to add that in. But that's my answer.
All right, and Taj, you want to go ahead and share your opinion on it?
Yeah, they changed. I agree with T Miles in the comment section. Solo did a great job. She mentioned my points, which was the different versions prove that it's been changed, but the story hasn't been changed. That's the point I was gonna make, so I can keep mine short. When you talk about Moses, from Moses to Jesus, let's take Jesus. They changed the name from Emmanuel to Jesus, and we can stay in the Bible and show that proof. When you go to Isaiah 7:14, and then when you get to Matthew 1:23, this is when the English Empire, the Queen and King of England, made their disconnect from the Romantic Catholic Church in 1534, giving y'all year dates and everything. So in 1534, the King and Queen of England wanted to know, if we're the King and Queen, why did we have to answer to the Pope? And that was the beginning of England breaking away from Rome. And then to fast forward a little, we get the King James Version of the Bible. Even in my last point, even in the King James Version of the Bible, the name Jesus is not in there. Now, we could pray in honor of my great grandparents. I still in my prayers in Jesus' Hebrew name, Emmanuel. So I connect the old to the new, to honor the Hebrew name and to honor the English name. But those are the facts of what y'all just heard me say. If you ever get a hold of a King James version, which is 1611, Jesus' name is spelled with the I. And then an English scholar after that officially changed, copyrighted, and trademarked the name Jesus. And that's why if you go to Matthew 1:25, I'll read it for you guys. It say, and knew her not till he had brought forth her firstborn son, and he called his name in all capital letters. So, Lord, you practice law, you know what all capital letters mean. Jesus. Anybody who has access to a Bible can go to Matthew 1:25. And if you go to a few verses before that, 23, you see the transition when they switch it from the Hebrew name Emmanuel to Jesus. I think I could wrap it up right there. I think my point is pretty clear on the distinctions they made and the changes they made. That's it.
So I got some interesting stuff. I mean, it's pretty much would say what I basically expected. I'm gonna have to steer the pot a little bit because I am familiar with the verse that you're speaking of, Takari, that's saying that when it's talking about lean not into your own understanding. To be honest with you, a lot of Christians tend to use that whenever you're basically challenging something that doesn't make freaking sense, and they're trying to make it make sense. They'll use that verse on you to say this makes it make sense. You don't understand it because you don't. So that's one thing. And here's another thing. I'm gonna make a couple of points. I said this in the morning show, and I'm gonna say it again. We all know that once upon a time we were, as a people, slavery did exist. We know that happened. And what I always said is, for me, if I was a conqueror, if I was an oppressor, and I was trying to maintain power over a group of people, and I know for sure this is the true word, of God, and this is what they follow, and this is a great source of their power. There's no way in hell I'm going to keep that book 100% exactly where it is. You're going to tamper with that shit. And it's just a couple things in there. Like, I would love to see what, and somebody may have the answer to this. I'm curious to know, though. For Ephesians, let me make sure I get the right, say it right, but it's in Ephesians. Ephesians 6:5, if you reading from King James, original King James version. And basically that's the verse that's talking about telling the slaves to obey their masters. So can someone please, T Miles, I know you up in here. You say you know it really well. Explain to me why that is in there. Or anyone.
Can you give me the verse again?
Ephesians 5. Ephesians 6, 6 and 5.
Spell Ephesians for me.
EPHESIANS.
Okay, you say Ephesians what?
6 and 5. If you're reading from the I think the new King James version is 6 and 7. 6 and 1.
TK in the house. Shout out to TK. Shout out to Leah.
And that version, they basically put it more like plain for people that like English readers. So they say that one just plainly say slaves, obey your earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ.
Just talk about what was going on at that time. So who wrote Ephesians?
That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure who wrote Ephesians.
So we'll talk. I mean, if this is a New Testament, is this a letter from Paul? Ephesians, is that in the New Testament?
Yeah, that's
Six
New
and you said
Testament, Ephesians.
okay.
E-
So okay, damn. See, my Bible is on the phone that I'm using. Um. So I'm not getting that script. I'm not getting that scripture that you're reading. Ephesians 6 and 5.
mhm.
Paul T. Miles 15
Okay,
said Paul
6.
wrote Ephesians.
So Paul is writing a letter to the Ephesians. These are
Mhm.
Jews who live in this part of the world. So what is he saying in that scripture? I mean, in that letter, what is he doing?
That's what I'm trying to get some clarity to.
Okay, you say Ephesians 5 and 6.
No, 6 and 5.
Okay, 6 and 5. Okay. Okay, so final greetings. This is what it look like, a final letter. Okay, children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Okay, this is 6 and. Is it a metaphor, Jamie, or is this is flat out? Because you know they like to write in metaphors.
Don't seem like
Look,
no
he's
damn
talking.
testament to me.
Look, he says slaves obey their earthly masters with respect and fear and with sincerity of heart, just as you would obey Christ.
Right. That's what it
I
says.
think, like, I don't think he's talking about like I think that this is a metaphor. I don't think this is like literally when you're in slavery, you're gonna love your masters. Like I don't think that's what he's talking about. Can anybody in the chat help me out? Help us out.
Yeah,
Colossians.
Cause let's go
TK
to the
Yeah,
Checktown,
Colossians talks
give
about
us
it
the
too. I was trying to
yeah.
remember. 'Cause I do remember it being somewhere else too. He found it.
again. That's a letter that
Miles,
Paul
we
is
agree,
writing
T Miles.
to the Jews who are living in that part of the world. So is he
Yeah,
saying,
but what I'm saying is, what under in any circumstances, what I don't get, and I like I said, I've had this conversation with a couple of people. I don't see under any circumstances should you be telling somebody, you know what I'm saying, obey your masters just as you would obey Christ.
your earthly masters? Like, okay, so with the word masters, is he talking about like a slave master, or is
It
that
says
a,
slaves.
I mean, because we're slaves to Christ. I mean, that's the way, like, see, this is how because to me, honestly, I'm a person, I think that you have to read the book, you have to read that particular book in the Bible as a story and not go to one verse and say, what does that mean? I think that you have to read sort of the whole the context of
And
what
you
this
do know
person,
this.
whoever's
I'm
writing
gonna go ahead and give you some more. This
the
is
Bible.
also the same. I mean, obviously we wasn't there, but this is what was said. This is the same verse and stuff like that that they had Nat Turner teaching his slaves. You know, they had him as the preacher,
Well,
and when he used
I
to
mean,
teach from it.
this may be a part of the Bible that they used to enslave us. But my thing is, why take this verse out of the Bible to prove that? I guess you're trying to prove that God somehow told us to obey our slave masters, or our forefathers who wrote the Bible were telling us to obey our slave masters. Instead of saying that, okay, this is what they used to enslave us. That may be true, but that doesn't mean that God is saying that I'm going to put you in slavery and I want you to obey them like you are now interpreting, because this is Paul writing to the Jews, right? Let's not change.
Hmm.
This isn't about slavery. This is about Paul writing to the Jews. So we have to go through all of those letters in Ephesians and see what exactly was he trying to tell them through those letters. This isn't God talking. This is Paul.
None of it is God talking.
This is
Right.
Paul writing letters.
Right. Someone wrote all of it. That's what I'm saying.
No, this is a letter that Paul, this is a
Right.
copy of the letter that Paul was writing to the church in Ephesians. At that time, the church in Ephesians were Jews, people who were believed in the God of Israel. So he writing letters to
Mm-hmm.
them, trying to
Come on.
convince them to do
Right.
something that we have to read the book to sort of understand. The Ephesians part. So I mean, this isn't God. I mean, of course, God talked through Paul,
It's not God at
but
all. That's not even our Lord and Savior. My bad, Solo.
yeah,
That's not even our Lord
Paul
and Savior.
talked
That's Paul. Yeah.
better to the Jews. So I guess what is he trying to say?
My
He
whole
not saying
point of me bring, my whole point of me bringing it up is what I'm saying is that I think there's absolutely no way that they didn't touch none of this though. Like it just makes sense as far as
well.
warfare, as far as
I mean, they picked pieces of the Bible and said this is that they took 90% of the Old Testament out of the Bible and gave us one half of the New Testament. That's the Christian Bible and plantation Christianity. So of course we wasn't able to read the whole Bible. So of course they had certain scriptures because we were in captivity. We don't get to decide what we read and what we understand, what we're teaching, what we're learning as a religion. So of course the white slave masters are deciding what scriptures, and they used to sit in there with us to make sure that our preachers are preaching what they put on our sermon, just like now with education. But anyway, so they of course they use certain portions of the Bible to keep us enslaved.
like I was saying, if I
Right.
was holding people into captivity, if I'm enslaving them, I'm trying to change, you know, change their religion, spirituality, whatever it is you want to go into. And I know for sure, let's just say that these texts, these scriptures and stuff like that is a major source to what they follow. Me as an oppressor, if I was doing that, obviously I'm not the type that would do that. But I'm saying if I was them, if I'm in their shoes, that is something I absolutely am going to do. That just makes sense. What's up, Demarcus? And that's really the point I was making. I was just saying the reason why I was highlighting that particular verse. I mean, there's a couple of them in there that you can point out that seems a little iffy, but like that one is just like kind of crazy. And still yet, I'm waiting on somebody to really, really explain what that one is talking about.
Well, you don't have to. You just read the letter. I mean, you don't have to guess what he's talking about if you read the letter, which I haven't. That's why I can't tell you. But the information is in the Bible. You read what he's trying to tell them.
I mean, throughout that scripture, basically, it does touch on things like telling the kids and stuff like that. In fact, I believe that's the same one that remember I was telling you about actually earlier this week about how it's telling the woman that you belong to the man and the man belongs to Christ. But what I'm saying is that one right there is just just crazy. So T Mal, you say I just did that. I mean, I haven't seen nothing to me, and trust me, I'm really open to like get some understanding to this because that is one that absolutely just didn't make sense to me.
I think it's a metaphor because all through here there are metaphors. To Yeah, all through this book, I'm at 3, Ephesians 3, and it's a metaphor. Paul says, "For this reason, I, Paul, the prisoner of Jesus Christ, for the sake of you, these Gentiles." Right. So is he a prisoner in real life, or is that a metaphor? Did Jesus imprison him, or is he
No,
using
that's
that?
that's that's a metaphor. That's a metaphor, Solo. Because when he say he's a
This is
prisoner of
what you.
Jesus
Oh
Christ,
no, that's not you. I'm sorry. What did you explain?
yeah,
What did you explain to that? T Miles, I still don't see it.
that's a metaphor, Solo. To be a prisoner of Jesus Christ.
Hmm?
Because you're not literally locked up in jail. You mean you're obeying the 2 commandments Emmanuel left us.
And he's in here talking about grace. I mean, for me, and Paul is not, but Paul is the reason why we in this mess because of him and his metaphors. But that's the way they spoke back then. It's very beautiful in a sense because he to me I feel like the metaphors he make are some of the metaphors he make today.
Really quick, if you're a moderator, please get rid of Michael. We ain't got time for that book. I just got him for right now. As we know, he's gonna come back with another Gmail account. You see his ass, cook him quick, please. This nigga doing way too much right now. All right, but go ahead and continue. Sorry.
I was just saying that I just think that the whole letter is a metaphor, but I don't think he's saying like God is gonna put you in slavery for disobeying his laws and you better love your slave master. I don't think that's what he's saying.
Well, I
Bradford,
never.
Bradford in the comment section asked 2 interesting questions. He said, "Do you not obey your boss when you go to work?" That's the first question. Second question: do you not listen to them when they ask you to do a task?
I saw that.
What is the question? Yes and yes.
Yeah, yes, and yes, right.
So what's the point?
He's connecting that to Paul telling the Jews of that time, if you end up in slavery, obey your masters. And then, like T. Miles said, the Most High put us in slavery. I agree with you, T. Miles. And the Most High just gave us reparations. Go ahead,
Yeah,
y'all.
the thing is that a lot of us look at slave. I mean, it's a bad thing because we were put in bondage and what our people had to go through. But like, I think this is the part where people who haven't read the Bible, they're shocked by things like that. Like to me,
Well, you
that
can't say that for me because I'm positive I've read the Bible more times than you.
I
Positive.
wasn't.
I'm just saying. Like I grew up being forced to read the shit.
Was I talking about you, Jamie? Did I say something that made you think that I was talking specifically about you?
Well, to be honest with you, yes.
Comment time. T. Miles 15. God most definitely put us in slavery for breaking his laws. Deuteronomy 28:15-68.
Yes, God. I mean, it was prophesied all through the Bible that we would go into slavery for disobeying His laws. Like, so to see that God, I mean, if you read what the kingdom is supposed to look like, people going people going into slavery then. So it's not like that's like see,
Favorite
but some people don't realize how alive and goes on in the Bible. They think God is just this sweet, loving person who
I
just
agree with you.
forgives.
Now, me and you agree a lot on that. Well, I agree with you
They,
100%.
that's what Christians teach.
I
But that's
agree.
one of the
You're right. That's
roads.
what kills me about them.
Revenge, just love on your enemies.
Now, this guy that I've been saying, to be honest with you, God in the same book committed way more murders than the devil did. Way more.
Well, God created the
Well,
devil.
God doesn't murder people. God
Right.
doesn't have isn't subjected to his own laws. So he can do what he wants. We as men, we as women, we're the ones that are subjected to his laws, but he makes the decision who lives or dies.
But I think a lot of it, to be honest with you, I think a lot of it is misinterpreted in so many different ways from my own understanding and stuff like that. Like I think um even as far as hell, heaven and hell is a huge misunderstanding. Like I know that's not necessarily the topic that's at hand, but I think even when it comes down to that, it's not, it's not exactly what people believe it to be. I mean, if y'all care to want to me to elaborate more on what I mean by that, I will. But
No, I agree with you. Heaven and hell are conditions on earth.
and indeed, and a lot of people are been, you know, fooled to believe that it's an actual place that you go after being disobedient, and of course, living in sin here on earth. And it's kind of crazy. See, that's how the same people that enslaved us they manipulate us even more so that they can have a heaven here on earth, and then still to try to make it seem like they have eligibility to have the heaven after death. When in actuality, you're supposed to have your heaven here, or you could have hell here, and then at the end, after Judgment Day, if you pay attention, what really gets decided is whether you live eternal life or not, or you be destroyed. That's really what it is. Like the fire that it speaks of at the end is going to destroy all of the wickedness, not put you in the actual place. Like it's so crazy. Me growing up as a child, bro, I actually used to hear people teach that, it was a place where you falling and maggots running through you and biting on you and stuff like that while the devil laughing. I'm like, bro, all kinds of made up stories that's like nowhere in the Bible. But like that's part of their manipulation to be able to control you with the fear of going to hell if you know what I'm saying, if you disobey.
Michael was banned again.
Yep, I just cooked his ass again. Sure did.
Bradford say God is not a tyrant. He gives everybody the opportunity to make their own choices or to worship him. Humans choose to do what they want to do because they wanted to live for themselves.
I mean, that is all. I can agree with that, but I still don't. Like I said, there's nothing in the Bible that supports the eternity in hell the way they be trying to teach. And to answer your question, DeMarcus, you asked what's my favorite chapter of the Bible. Um, to be honest with you, as a child, the one that intrigued me the most was Revelation 13.
Genesis 1 for me.
Obadiah.
Genesis 49 will probably be a close follow. I love Genesis 49 as well.
If I had to do two, it would be Obadiah. It's only one book. It's only one chapter, so it's easy to find. And then Jeremiah 31.
All right. DV said, what's good, Solo? DV gave you a shout out.
What's up?
The hell people believe in is the Greek mythology hell, which is Hades, a burning place where the devils rule. Yeah. So I'm glad we all agree on that, T-Miles. That's good. We all agree on that. He asked basically we just answered that actually, but we appreciate the super. Mine was Revelation 13. Todd said Genesis 1.
Uh-huh.
Solo said Jeremiah 31 and Obadiah. What was Obadiah and what? One? Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
there's only one book. Yeah. So yeah.
My favorite scripture to DV question is be fruitful and multiply. He said, what's y'all favorite scripture of the Bible?
It's probably going to be one of them scriptures in Jeremiah 31 when he talks about saving Israel.
All right. Shout out to T Miles. He agreed with me. Yeah, the brother was right. It's a condition on earth and the grave.
Right. Facts. Okay, good. We don't have no you say you love Ecclesiastes?
That's the one I teach to the YN. It's Ecclesiastes 3:3.
Actually, like, I like Thessalonians too. Thessalonians and Timothy, those as well. And Daniel. Shit. But yeah, I mean, I think we can go ahead and move on, I guess. I mean, we still getting comments in for this. Hold up. God didn't intend for us, man, to live in heaven. He originally created Adam and Eve to live forever already on earth.
Fact.
He already had eternal life until they lost it.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's why I said Genesis 1. Good point, Raph. That's why I said Genesis 1. Because that's before the fall of sin. Thanks for I didn't want to be long-winded, but I appreciate you putting that comment. God didn't intend for, Jamie read it already. So yeah, that's the reason. You just typed the reason I chose Genesis 1. Because that's before the fall. Until they lost it. That's a profound comment. God didn't intend. I know you read it already. It deserves a second read. God didn't intend for us, man, to live in heaven. He originally created Adam and Eve to live forever. Already on earth. They already had eternal life, that part, until they lost it. That's man. What up, DV? I see you. Here we go again, another Sunday. What up, Jamie? Y'all ready for the next one?
Yeah.
SG in the house. Shout out to SG, TK.
Let me read this last one by Takara, and then we're gonna move on. Joshua 1:8. Keep this book of the law always on your lips. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be careful to do everything written in it. Then you will be prosperous and successful. That's my favorite. Hey, that's a good one. I don't think I ever heard anyone, because a lot of times when it comes to these stuff, it be the ones that's kind of common. But yeah, that's one you just pull out from the gutter on with that. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense because it talks about prosperity on how to be successful and make it in this life. All right, then we're gonna go ahead and move on to this next one. Gonna get a little hot on this one, but anyway, let's go ahead and move on. The attack on masculinity, and this is the thing. This isn't just a black thing. This is the whole thing. See, that's another thing that kind of, when y'all jumped on me at the beginning, you notice I didn't even divide
Don't
it.
read the facts. Don't rewrite the facts.
What you mean rewrite the facts? This is the truth. I never put. It's been the same since we've been here. I never put anything dealing with blacks, but y'all made it a black thing.
Because that's the name of the podcast.
True, but this whole attack as masculinity on masculinity affects us as well, so it still matters. But anyways, pretty much there has been a mass attack, and I'm not the only one saying this. It is a lot of successful dudes that is talking about the same thing, but especially in the world me and you work in, Todd, it's a lot of them. As you know, our newest Captain America talked on this, and they jumped on him some, but it absolutely is a mass attack on masculinity as a whole. And that, The reason why they're doing it like that because we've always said, we make everything move. So if it's affecting us heavily, it's going to affect the rest of them. So with that being said, you can. I'm gonna open it up for first with you, Todd, to let you get your opinion out. And then we'll stop from there. And in your opinion, is there attack on it masculinity? You can make it more so just dealing with our culture if you want to. That's perfectly fine. But do you feel like there is one? And keep in mind, like I said, when masculinity is being attacked by default, femininity will also be attacked. Keep that in mind. But go ahead.
All right. Two quick shout outs. Shout out to SG. He said, hit that like button. He telling everybody to hit that like button. DV said, eternal life, meaning spiritual life. Yeah, all right. So to your question, yes. And we're living proof of our masculinity being attacked in a country, in a nation that was threatened by our masculinity. You could witness our masculinity in sports, any sport. Pick one: football, basketball. That show, but it's a sport. It's not real life politics. When it comes to real world power, our masculinity is being, the vibration of our masculinity is being brought down to make other men comfortable.
Wait,
That's it.
so you're saying, hold on, you're finished?
Yeah, I'm finished.
You said that towards the end that they're doing that to make other men feel comfortable?
Absolutely. If we take America, historically is well documented, black men masculinity was attacked because it was too dominant. That's why I use the current parallel of athletics. When we observe athletics, you can see our dominance in all the sports. But that's sport and play. That's not real life power. So when it comes to real life power, which is politics, politics is more powerful than religion in this world. So when it comes to politics, we can show state laws, Jim Crow, how you say it, systemic
Systemic
discrimination.
racism.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know people get tired of hearing the word slavery, but you see all of these assaults on the black man's masculinity. And the only arena, the only field we're allowed to show our masculinity is in the realm of athletics. When it comes to real world power, our masculine vibration has been brought down so the men who run this world cannot feel threatened. That's it.
Okay, so Solo, I'm gonna go ahead and get your opinion. And now to answer Demarcus your question real quick, Cairo couldn't make it this Sunday. She had a few things she had to do. But yeah, I think she said she wanted to come next Sunday, so she'll be here next Sunday, I believe.
All right. Shout out to Cairo, New York City, from New Orleans to
Go
New
ahead,
York.
Solo.
Okay. So yeah, I completely agree with Taj, especially on that sort of stance. There is a war against black men, and I think that you guys do intimidate other races, and that's why they have created a system of oppression that has trickled down into our communities, our families, and our ultimate relationships, like between mother and child, between dad and child, and wife and mother. So I completely agree with that. But if we were to speak on a grant, because I always think that there's going to be things that affect black people, and then there's going to be things that affect all men, regardless of race. But I also, when I know that things are going to attack men of all races, I automatically assume that it's going to attack black men the worst because we're usually unrepresented in all areas. So, like Dr. Umar was, if white America the cold, black America catches. So we
Mm-hmm.
always but the worst of the worst. So as far as an attack on masculinity, what is it?
Masculinity.
Masculinity.
Uh-huh.
Of course, I think that it is.
Manhood.
I
Or would
yeah,
you
okay,
say man? Okay, so man.
right. That's the easier word for me to say right now. So there is
Mm-hmm.
an attack on manhood, but I think the attack is a response for what you would say women have been subjected to under you guys' rule.
Mm-hmm.
And I say you guys take it as an attack because you guys have been conditioned to believe that you make all the rules and that you are in a higher you're in a higher hierarchy in society. Like it's the man, they come first. They're first and then it's the woman. That a lot of men have been conditioned to believe that, and now that we've in this era where people are, you would say women are trying to step up to men and try to create these words to describe what they have been going through at the hands of men. I think that men take that as an attack because a lot of the things that they have been conditioned to believe that they come first, they should be number one in all categories, that they feel as though they're being attacked because we're now using the words to describe their behavior. And it's, and in my opinion, um I think that a lot of women are sort of tired of getting what I would consider to be the bare minimum. Maybe maybe I have a different understanding of what the bare minimum is, different definition of what the bare minimum is. But a lot of women are saying, I don't want to take the bare minimum from this guy or from these men that I'm getting while I'm dating. So men are saying, well, you're not, I have what I have and you should accept me with what I got. And a woman is saying, well, no, I don't accept that. I'm not agreeable to what it is that you're requesting. And then men say, well, basically I'm the prize and you would be lucky to be under my rule, basically, because that's sort of what you do. You plan on being a wife, you plan to submit, so you're under their rule. And I think that because it's not working for normal men, the average man, is that isn't working for them, they take that as an attack. Oh, because you won't follow my rules, you're too feminine. Oh, because you don't want to be with me because I want to be with you, then you're too masculine. Or in whatever manner, because a lot of men are so insecure and so depressed that they will bring, they see, they will bring if the woman says basically, I'm too good for you, they will try to bring her down for her to be receptive to what it is that they are offering. And when a woman isn't saying yes, yes, yes to men demands, they take that as a general consensus that, well, my masculinity is being attacked. Or if a woman refuses to submit or to listen to you or to follow your leadership, oh, my manhood is being attacked. So it's just that because women are now, I object to what you're saying. I don't agree, which I'm not willing to agree with it. It translated into, you know, my manhood is being attacked. So that's the general consensus of like what's going on like globally. And then on the individual level, that's what's happening with like normal men in their relationships. So is it an attack? I don't know if it's an attack, but I do think that we're now putting labels on what we're subjected to as women. We're now putting a label on the behavior that we're getting from men. And because we're now saying this probably in the first time in history, women are saying no, they think, oh, that's an attack because I'm a man. I'm supposed to get what I want. I'm the cream of the crop. I'm the best. I'm the catch. So for you to reject me, how could you reject me? I'm a man. And that's that.
Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and I guess dive in on a lot of that you just said. First off, I don't think men as a whole. So a lot of the stuff that you're saying, that's not the attack. That
Well, why can't you just respond and not really criticize what I said? What about your opinion?
okay. Anyways, like I was saying, that's not exactly the attack that I'm speaking of. The attack that I'm speaking of is anything like, for instance, what Takara addressed it in the comment section. They're deliberately putting certain things like homosexuality in all of the shows and stuff like that. This is gonna affect. Think about this. This is gonna affect masculinity way more than it's gonna affect femininity. Because for one thing, um, when you see two women, even though it shouldn't be like this, but it is what it is. How it affects us. If you see two women making out on TV, it doesn't move the needle the same way as you see two men. It's totally different things. They're putting it in there. They're putting it in television and stuff like that. They're not giving men authority to do certain things and stuff like that to be able to maintain the household. That's why, Todd, when you were speaking on earlier, I think this is before we even started about controlling your household.
Mm-hmm.
The only option we really have, like you said, like which is what I said, is that you have to just let them go because it's really no other option because if you do anything, you're going to get in trouble with the law, and then we got to be very careful with who we lie down with, who we have kids with, and stuff like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and touch in on my opinion on a lot of that stuff that because you kind of touched on some of the stuff I said solo that I was thinking, but kind of in a different way. I'm gonna say that. But what I think is going on in this is that obviously the economy has changed. Like 30 years ago, men were able to work, you know what I'm saying, one job possibly and still be able to hold down his household. The way things have went up now is unless you have a really good job, it's nearly impossible. So with that being said, it's kind of harder for him to take over it to be able to pay for everything traditionally like it once was, and that's why for me, I actually say that I think for a man, if you are, you know what I'm saying, if you're not able to pay 100% of the household that's going on, then you shouldn't expect the woman to do all of the traditional feminine duties, such as you like for once you might work. She still got to pay half on the bills, but you like, oh, cleaning, that's your job, and stuff like that. I'm totally against that because you're not, you know what I'm saying? You're not, you're trying to make her do the traditional values, but you're not bringing it yourself. Um, what's your opinion on men these days in the generation that aren't men anymore, like feminine? I think we got, I'm gonna say this, I think we have a lot of them. And that's a huge part of what our problem is that we were raised by our moms for so long that we lost the value of what it really is to be a man. It's not just strictly, what I'm saying, provided from that standpoint. I think we lost our value as just being able to be a leader. You know what I'm saying? And certain stuff like I think men we cater to the thoughts and stuff like that of our women way too much to try to satisfy them. And whenever I and trust me, I'm speaking this one from experience because I actually went through this. Anytime you try to cater to your woman to make her happy, you fail. And that's the truth. Because it's on her herself to make herself happy. Your job is just to provide and protect her. Now, Charles, I know you're against the provide part, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right.
Because you said it's no scripture that supports that. Now to protect,
right, right. Our duty. I mean, I want you to finish.
But yeah, what I was saying with that though is that and I think that's a huge issue, and that more so of an attack in masculinity. You know what I'm saying? The court system helped them do this because if you're not happy, they have the luxury of being able to divorce you and cook your ass just like that. Then you in a crazy old divorce settlement that you got to deal with or fight. Now you battling for custody for the kids and all that shit. And you know what I'm saying? It's not your job to make happiness. It's your job to just make sure she's safe, she's protected. And in my opinion, I think we should be the provider because we always been the hunters and stuff like that to bring it. That's just my opinion on that. But you know what I'm saying? I think we've lost that because we cater too much. Like this saying, happy wife, happy life, that's bullshit. It's on her to make herself happy. You can go ahead, Todd. I'm done.
Yeah, we provide protection. When you look at the lions, the male lion, that's the only thing the male lion provides. And we're the representatives of the creator. We domesticated the lions, which shows we have dominion over the lions. So if we're greater than the lions, it's the same thing. We provide protection. I know plenty cases where the chick make more money than a dude, but that chick is comfortable in the dude's presence because the dude provides her with protection. There's a lot of cases of that out there.
Yeah, I can agree with that part that you said. And what I always say with that is that, as long as she still, like you kind of touched on, respect him as a man, it can work. But unfortunately, I think in today's society, most of them don't respect you if you don't make more money than them.
Bradford just doubled down. He said the irony is that in the animal kingdom, the females do the hunting. What's the exchange with that? The exchange is they're telling the male species, if we go get the food, y'all just make sure we're safe. And that's in the animal kingdom.
Well, I guess it depends on what species. Not all of them is like that.
Well, I'll let you and Bradford
I'm just saying I watch a lot on the animal kingdom. It depends on what species we're talking about.
Right.
I get what you mean, though.
Right. You're right. By him broadening it out, you see, I focused on the lions. I didn't say the whole animal kingdom.
Yeah, I know.
I don't really have intel to go back and forth. But think the lions are the king of the jungle, and we domesticated the lions. We bring lions into zoos. So our women go grocery shopping, provide the nutrition, make it's clean, and you're gonna feel protected, and we're gonna enjoy each other. Be fruitful and multiply.
Yeah, the lion, now that's 100% sure. The lioness for sure does the hunting. It's rare that the only way the male do the hunting if the shit just right there and he's like, oh, you bold enough to be right here in front of me, I'm about to get your ass. But other than that, yeah, it's not going to go out there and do the chase.
Now, TK, shout out, my bad, Jamie. Shout out to TK in Sacktown. He just provided me with scripture to show that here it is, Proverbs 31:13. She seeketh, emphasis on she seeketh wool and flax and work. Oh my God, TKA, shout out. And worketh willing with her hands. She considereth a field. And now we got scripture to prove. Thanks so much, bro. To buyeth with the fruit of her hands. She planteth a vineyard. So you drinking wine, you eating grapes. This nigga dropping all kind of scriptures. TK then came back with another one.
He been dropping
31:24.
scriptures all day.
Huh?
I would say he been dropping scriptures all day.
Hey, he said she make fine linen and selleth it. Shout out to super shout out to TK. That's it. He gave me the scriptures I needed to prove, and we are providers. We
But
provide
yeah, and that's kind of what another thing that I was gonna touch on. See, and that's a thing that we're being frowned upon about. But see, historically, if you really just look at history, women have always worked. There's never been a time that they haven't. Historically, they have. But see, this is the thing. I think that's part of more matrix. If they can tell you that you're not a man, if you're not able to do this, then they knew successfully more than half of the population would fail. Because I keep telling folks that the way the economy is right now.
What women you talking about?
Say it again. Say it again.
What?
Is she breaking up?
Proverbs 31:24. She make fine linen and sell it. And so that's like a lady having a unique boutique on Melrose. You know what I'm saying? That don't mean the nigga's supposed to be living off of her. I don't want anybody
to get that. Of course, we're not saying that.
Okay.
Of course, we're not saying that. But what I'm saying, what I was getting ready to go into is that in today's society, with the expenses of things and stuff like that, more than half of the men can't afford to take care of everything on their own. And I think they know that. So you're going to have a relationship problem and power struggle going on because of that. You know what I'm saying? Because think about it. On average, even the highest of earnings of as far as, an ethnic group only make about 50 grand a year. That's not enough unless y'all are, making sure you only buy necessities and you never really want luxury. It's not really enough to, take care of an entire family on just this salary. So, you're gonna need a combination of a woman adding on to it as well, and you still protect the household like you're supposed to. Now that is in the scripture, we're the protector. And I think if it's the right, couple and stuff like that together, you're gonna naturally grow financially and spiritually and all of that if it's the right people. Can you give some scriptures about Ruth and Esther? So Ruth and Esther, that's the one that was older, having that had a child at a very old age, right? Sola, were you gonna say something though? Cause it's like you said something, then you stopped. Maybe she got a call or something. Anyways, you got something else you want to touch on as far as this?
No, TK came through to finally give me the scripture receipts to prove my point that the only thing the man is the provider. He provides protection. In our society, that don't mean sleep on the couch and play video games all day. Go handle your business. You know what I mean? But she's supposed to handle her business too. And so now it's just really about true love. It ain't about what I got or what she got. We both doing our thing. She's feeling safe in my presence, and we live happily ever after. That's it.
Okay, well, I don't know. She don't lost connection. I'm gonna see what check on her or whatever. But
So in 2025, just using the scriptures TK gave us, she seek wool and flax and work willingly with her hands. Let's just modernize that. That's no different than a housewife using Amazon, not to give them no free promotion, but just handling their business from the house and making their money. That way they don't have to go out into the world and have to fight off temptations from dudes trying to hit on them and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So that scripture, which comes from King Solomon, that could be modernized. All right, baby, you stay home. You a housewife. Stay home, get your money online. Whatever you need, ship it out. What if it's wool, flax, and all the other stuff TK put in the comment section. That was my whole thing. A garden. It says she considered a garden. That's her looking for a field of land. Buy it. So with the money she made from the wool and the flax and working with her hand, she go buys a field of land. With the fruit of her hand, she plant a vineyard. Now we drinking free wine. Hell yeah, I'm taking care of her. Shit. That's it. She read Proverbs 31 and dropped the phone. TK says she read Proverbs 31 and dropped the phone. Oh, snap. Hey, bro, thanks. I've been waiting for the scripture receipt to prove my point. The men we provide protect. I know cases where that's all the dude is providing is protection. The chick make way more money than the dude. And we got to find out if black women collectively make more money than black men. We got to get the stats and facts on that. Does the comment section have any data on that? I mean, we don't have to make everything about race, culture, and stuff like that, but y'all hear what I'm saying? Experience it solo. Y'all can y'all hear me? Yeah, experience it. So is that solo?
I just noticed I was on mute the whole time. I just noticed that. I was talking the whole time. Did not know I was on mute. But no, we can't hear you. Say something now. Yeah, I don't know. Something's up with her mic, or I don't know. But yeah, I was actually addressing. Yeah, I think Branford, you got it. You're definitely right with that. You know, marriage is when it's come to marriage and stuff like that, you can't be doing the his and mines and hers and I agree with that. It just sucks because the way today's society is, nobody's honorable. So we consider those so much. I think she's probably coming out and trying to come back in. How do you feel about a house husband who is loyal to his wife and take care of his house and kids? You asked me this before, and I think I had to get some more clarity on what it is you exactly meant, because I think I misinterpreted what you meant about when you're saying a house husband.
Your mic on mute?
Oh, I'm about to let her back in. All right, try to speak now.
Testing.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Okay.
DV,
All right.
if you want to call that a house husband, that's on you. But as long as that man is handling his business, let me read your comment. Loyal to his wife, take care of his house and his kids. He handled it. He the head of the household.
Now, Yeah, and so hold on. So DeMarcus, you watch. Let me ask you a question because you do watch Reasonable Doubt. So I got a question. Would Lewis be considered a house husband that you're speaking of? Because like, although Jax makes more money than him, he absolutely still holds it down for his family. Like, he's a protector. He makes sure he disciplines the kids, protects everything, including her own assets and stuff like that. Because okay, so great. So yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody's good at something. And then this is the thing: certain women are phenomenons. They so happen to be really good at whatever it is they are good at. You know what I'm saying? And they become very wealthy because of it. And I don't see it as an issue unless you with a man and then you're disrespecting him because you know, he doesn't have the same financial stature as you. But as long as she still respects him as a man, bro, there's nothing wrong with that. That's love. Sometimes it happens like that.
I have the opportunity
So
to
yeah,
grocery bag an actress who makes more money than me, and I'm not going public until it's locked in. And the thing is just, let's say she want to go to Linden on Sunset once a week. Can I afford that? You know what I'm saying? So it becomes,
Mhm.
I don't, it's like she knows, like, yo, I can't take you to Linden on Sunset every day of the damn week, but I can afford to take you there once a week. And then
Mhm.
as we grow, if the man is showing ambition, all that other stuff go out the window. I'll leave it there.
I don't believe in gender roles. I feel like it's okay for either spouse to contribute in whatever ways works for their family. Nobody should use their spouse to and be lazy though. I 100% agree with that too. 100% agree. And I think that's been blown out of proportion too much. There's nothing wrong with your woman making more than you as long as y'all still are able to sustain love and respect and honor for each other. There's nothing wrong with it.
y'all don't believe in gender roles, but y'all want to be respected as a husband. That's a gender role. That's a gender role, right? Is it not?
Yeah, I'm the head. I'm the head of the house. I'm the head of the household.
Right, but that's a gender role. But y'all don't believe in gender roles.
I didn't say that. I said that
I think
if
what he
the
means when he say he don't believe in gender roles, he's talking about
Financial, yeah, y'all don't believe in gender roles that benefits that doesn't benefit y'all. But otherwise, y'all completely agree with gender
well,
roles.
me personally, I've
You
never
want to be
dated a girl that
respected
make
as
more
a
money than me.
husband. You
So
want to be respected as a husband. You want me to submit as a wife. You want me to uh respect you as a husband, but then you say I don't believe in gender roles. That's a gender role. If you want to be respected as a husband.
you're let me make sure I understand this correctly. Are you implying that the man shouldn't be respected if he doesn't make more money than his woman?
No, I'm saying you it's either you believe in gender roles or you don't. You can't say I don't believe in gender roles when it comes to you being a provider, but yet you want to be respected as a husband regardless if you are providing or not.
I
So
believe in
It's
gender
either,
essentially,
roles.
you're saying what I'm
it's
saying.
either no, it's either you agree with gender roles or you don't agree with gender roles.
I agree with
It-
gender roles.
I'm glad he cleared it up because that's what I thought. That's how I interpreted. That's what he was saying too. He was saying, "No, I'm not saying that. I think that both partners should respect each other and submit to each other according to the Bible." So this is what basically what he's saying is like, bro, whatever works works. Like if you know what I'm saying, if I'm the one that's balling and stuff like that, and you basically hold your own by putting more work into making sure the kids great, making sure everything I need to keep this, you know, to keep this wheel that I got going on running, that's perfectly fine. But on the flip side, what he's saying is, let's say, like for instance, even though this is a rarity, like for instance, Rihanna makes more money than A$AP Rocky, but it seems like,
Good example.
obviously we're outside looking in, but it seems like they have a good relationship. They're not letting that dictate what is going on. And what I'm saying is, if that's what works with them, there's nothing wrong with it. That's what my stance is on it.
But you're talking about two people who got more than enough means to provide for themselves. I think that we should talk about people with regular incomes, women with regular incomes, men with regular incomes. So you're saying that if I make $60,000, well, to me, it really has nothing to do with the finances part. Like, I don't think me respecting you as a husband has anything to do with how much money you bring in or what you're paying. I think that that is, maybe that's the women y'all date. I don't know. Maybe that's the women y'all date who put the finances top tier. Because if we're both
Well,
making money, I don't give a damn if you pay the rent. I don't give a damn if you this, you that. Like Rihanna them, you think they're worried about which one of them paying the rent this month? I don't.
I'm
I
paying.
don't. That's not.
I'm paying
That.
the
That's
rent to.
not.
I'm paying the rent. It could be an ego thing, but I'm paying the rent just to be. That's yeah. That's my role. I'm paying the rent. When we go out to eat. I grew up around hustlers and dope dealers
mhm.
and stuff like, and that's what I saw them do. So I'm paying every time we go out to eat. I'm not a trick. That's just what I saw
I'm
growing
the
up.
same way. Like I always want to pay the bill,
Yeah.
especially if I ask you
But
out.
that's the bare minimum. What are we supposed to be giving you a treat for paying the bill?
No, what? That's how you're taking it. We just saying that in general, and I feel the same way when it comes to rent. I want to be the one that, or house mortgage or whatever it is. I want to be the one that's taking care of that. But I don't think what I'm saying is I don't think nothing if that woman says, I'm okay with, what I'm saying, going 50-50 with him and they got a connection that's, going on that's different. It don't got to be a rich person. I just use them because that's the kind of I don't know anybody that everyone can relate to that's not a celebrity that that the woman makes more money than the man. That's the only reason why I went that way, to use them as an example. But what I do know is typically from people that I speak with, and for me, for a very small part of time, like I've never came into a relationship dating, a girl, and she made more money than me. I don't think that's ever been a thing for me, ever. But I have had a time where I was doing well and then I kind of fell off some, and she so happened to have a little bit more than me. She's making more than me, and it was miserable because she absolutely made sure she pointed that out. And I just know a lot of men tend to speak on it, like, bro, never put yourself in that situation. You say, is everyone married on the panel? Actually, none of us are married. Matthew 19:5-6. For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be united to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. 6. So they are no longer two, but one
But one
flesh.
flesh.
Basically saying that, and once that knot has been tied, is no such thing as you doing this, you doing that, and all that. You are all one. You're taking care of it together.
Welcome back, D. D in the house.
Marriages fail because there is no real ones. You have to be selfless for a marriage to last, not selfish. That's good, Michael. You're apologizing to Branford. Branford, you got your apology. D, you said you're separated. What's up, D?
So yeah, I pay the rent, I pay the bills, so my lady could use her money to keep herself looking good. Is that not a fair deal?
I mean, like I said, my stance on that is it all depends on what it is you guys decide on collectively for your, because what may works for me may not work for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it all depends on what y'all decide on.
And that don't come from nature, that comes from nurture. I was nurtured that way growing up around the guys who I saw in my neighborhood. That's what they did. The ladies didn't have to pay for a thing. We in the club, I'm buying the bottle, wear your glass, me pour your glass, hey, cheers, all that shit. And yeah, just use whatever money she making. If she got a nail salon, a hair shop, if she do stuff online, if she make her money online, whatever her job is, use that money to take care of yourself. And if we stay together, just keep the house clean. Make sure we got something to eat. Keep the refrigerator filled. That's
All right.
that's been out since high school, to be honest with you. I had a car in high school and everything, and I've always treated my girlfriends like that.
So 16 times. Oh, we getting it in per usual. You see, married people listening to people who never been married is a huge problem for me. I agree
Are
with you.
we giving the man advice?
We're not giving advice though. We're just speaking on things
So what
as
is
a
he
whole.
talking about? So what is he talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I'm so confused.
I don't
Are we
agree
giving
with
marriage
women in
advice?
2025 saying you're not a real man if you don't pay for everything. That's not biblical, and it's bondage.
No, please. Then find you a woman who don't believe in it.
Well, he's already married.
Then why he even concerned about what women in 2025 talking about when he got somebody that's already agreed to his government?
That's it, y'all. I shared my personal style of how I've been getting down since high school. Of course, you don't have your own place in high school, but I did have a car, so I didn't ask my girlfriend, hey, give me $20 bank on the tank, put some bank on the tank. I'm like, no, you riding with me. Let's go get something to eat. Let's chill, go do what we do. And then when
You know what?
after high school, it went from there.
Also, though, I think as far as I believe they're older, for sure older than me and Solo. They're older than us. Not exactly like I never asked Takara and DeMarcus, you guys' age range, but I think things has changed a bit. Really, like it's crazy. Like after the era, it was it was a study that was done on this. After the era of Instagram, when Instagram was first inserted, like everything changed from a relationship standpoint of how things were looked at. And that's when they said that's when a lot of divorces and stuff like that started to explode like crazy. A lot of things. That's when stuff started getting out. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's a different time period. But one thing I do know, and I'm gonna stand on, and we can end it on this, is the way things are currently constructed. Majority of the men aren't going to be able to take care of the full household, and it's not just black people. This is all. But anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the next, which is we're going to be talking about Gavin Newsom and the historical bill that was passed in California. What day was it, Taj? Like a day or two ago?
Yep, 2 days ago on Friday, 10/10/25.
You sure was. I remember that actually, 10/10. Yep. So on 10/10, Governor Newsom signed a bill that basically has initiated reparations to be passed in California. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and direct it over to Taj. He, like I said earlier, he knows more about this than I do. I'm kind of getting my studies up on learning more, so I don't want to misquote nothing and be wrong. And so I'll let you go ahead and bring it forward, and then we'll pretty much share our opinions and thoughts on it.
All right. We're focused. When I say we, the grassroots advocates, we're focused on how soon will the Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves be established so our elders, 70 years and older, can receive their $1 million+ dollars. It starts with the elders and then it trickles down from there. So for example, I know ladies, 70 years old, let's just say 70 plus. According to the task force recommendations, they're supposed to receive $1 million. And then it goes down from there. If you're from, let's say, the age 69 to, I'm not sure, 55, it might be a different rate. I would have to go check the notes to see what for people like us, Jamie, we qualify maybe for like 100,000 plus or something like that. And so now the questions people are asking me is, how soon will the Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves be set up? And how soon, these people are getting older, 70 plus. I mean, you can clock out of this world on any given day. So they're like, yo, at least if we get our $1 million, we can set up their will and make sure their loved ones inherit whatever they leave behind that's left from the 1 million plus.
I didn't even know you was out of here. What's the last thing you heard?
My phone overheated.
Okay, did you hear it when he was explaining the reparation part? So you need him to
No.
repeat. Charles, if you don't mind, can you repeat it so she can hear it?
Yeah, as of 10/10/25, the Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves has been established in the state of California. The governor signed that bill last Friday. Moving forward, the focus, the questions I'm receiving through text messages, phone calls, specifically from our elders, people that's 65 years and older, they want to know, how soon will the Bureau be established and how soon can they expect their direct deposit of $1 million? For our elders that are 70 years old and older, they qualify, according to the task force recommendations, they qualify for $1 million. And then it's a sliding scale down for everybody 69 and younger. And that's just one of the recommendations, task force recommendations.
Okay, so as great as that sound, particularly for people who live in California, the blacks, the descendants of slaves that live in California. Some of the things I would be concerned of, is one, like me and you kind of discussed. Newsom signed this on his way out, and he's basically going to be having the pressure being put on whoever the next governor is, because he's not going to be in office long enough. Probably by the time it's really time to, push this thing out, he's not going to be in office anymore. So that's going to have to be, something that whoever this new governor is going to have to deal with. And I could be ignorant on this, and I ain't got no problem with being ignorant with this, because it's been a little while since I studied this kind of stuff. But I'm curious. Does this governor have, of course, this bill's already been passed. Does the governor have the power to do something to basically get rid of it after he comes into office, the next governor?
No, from the reports I've seen, it's a permanent agency.
Okay.
We all can fact check that, but from the reports I'm looking at, it's a permanent. The Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves is a permanent state reparations agency.
Got it. And another concern for me, and I talked about this with you before.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a Tennessee native, but obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I've been living in LA for about a decade now. Let's say, it's a chain reaction, or after California gets this done, the rest of the states follow behind, which, typically a lot of the time they do happen. And now it's time for Tennessee to do theirs. I would be more eligible for more, probably, for Tennessee because, I lived there majority of my life than I would California. So if you get something from California, would they I would be concerned Tennessee be like, no, you got yours from California. You don't get nothing here. Like, that'll be some bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
That would be up to the states. Remember, you have states' rights. So that would be up to Tennessee. Using your logic, let's say Tennessee, it took California 5 years. So let's say Tennessee in the next 5 years does the same thing. If they look at your income tax and see that, well, Jamie, you accepted your reparation payment in California, we're going to subtract that from whatever Tennessee agrees to pay you.
Hopefully they
That's
do that.
just,
Yeah, hopefully they do that instead of just saying, "Oh, you don't get this shit at all." Fuck that.
Right. According to the Reparations Task Force, you're eligible if you have lived in California for at least 6 months at any time between the years of 1850 and 2020. So if you move to California after 2020, you don't qualify. So let me read that again. According to the Reparations Task Force, you're eligible if you have lived in California for at least 6 months at any time between the years of 1850 and 2020.
Solo, you got a question. So DeMarcus asked you, would you vote for Gavin Newsom?
No, I don't vote for any corporate Democrat.
I do that, but I want to let her answer it for herself. Me and her share that. Nobody vote for that nigga. But so first of all, before I ask my next question, is there anything you wanted to add, Solo, or a question you may have? I know you don't live in California, but
Right, but I mean, are we happy about this, or is this just like another show of fake
give me a
progress?
second.
While Jamie's taking that call, Solo, the facts are it's a historic moment in American history. That's the fact. It's up to each individual to determine whether they're happy or not. I accept the history made, but I'm not too excited because there's still more work to be done to make sure our elders, 65 years and older, 70 years and older, get their just due before they clock out of this world. And I wish, hope, pray all of them live 100+ years. But we're already losing elders in their 70s. And it would be an honor to break them off their $1 million direct deposit so they could do what they want to do with their $1 million for the rest of their life. So it's up to each individual on how they think and feel about it, whether they're happy or not satisfied. Good question. You there, Solo? I guess it's just me in the comment section. Jamie on the phone call. Solo, you there?
No, yeah, I'm here.
All right. So yeah, it's up to each
My,
individual whether if they're happy or not. I'm happy for the rest of the country because it's great inspiration for other states to use this as a state model. So this is the first state model that other states can study. Remember, Maryland had a chance to do it, but a black governor, all skin folk ain't your kinfolk, a black governor vetoed the bill after it passed through the House Senate. So California got another chance to make history. And on 10/10/25, the governor of California signed the Bureau for Descendants of American Slaves into public law. It's a permanent agency. And the first rollout are supposed to be our elders that are 70 years and older to receive $1 million. And then we go from there.
Okay, but tell me this. So, okay, so they created this task force. They created this board of people who's going to sort of be over the reparations. But in their first task is to give people who are 70 and over. Is there any guarantee that that's going to pass throughout the governmental agencies and for sure that they're going to get that? Otherwise, it's just them creating another panel of people to talk about reparations. To me, and I feel like that's what we keep seeing, is that when they say we're making a movement towards reparations, what they're doing is sort of creating a committee to study the reparations package, not really to
California Task Force did the study in 2023. So they completed the study in 2023 and had a 5-4 split. It was 9 people on the task force, and the majority of the 5 people voted for harm-based reparations. And that's why you have to be a descendant of an American slave, lineage-based, not race-based. A Chicago suburb based their reparation program off of race, and now a legal group is suing them, doing a class action lawsuit against that Chicago suburb as we speak. So back to your point, Solo, I'm not sure which recommendation they're going to roll out first, but if I'm keeping my ear to the grassroots advocates accurately, they want our elders to get their $1 million first because they're up against lifetime. So it's like break off our elders who actually experienced the FHA discrimination. FHA stands for Federal Housing Administration. They're old enough to experience that. That the FHA discrimination was not done away with until 1970. You know what I mean? You got people that's still alive that was born in 1925. You know, so they want to take care of them first, and then the other programs will come after.
I feel like I missed them when I got the call. So
we're not just hoping, we're hoping and pushing for our elders 70 years and older to get their $1 million direct deposit first as the first rollout. And then there's the recommendation, if I'm not mistaken, the task force put out almost 100 recommendations. It could text my phone and correct me if that's wrong. But the task force put out a list of recommendations. To my knowledge, the one that when I say we, me and everybody who agree, grassroots advocates and activists, we want to see our elders who are passing away. These people are getting older, 70 years and up. We want to see them reimbursed. We want to see them compensated for the systemic discrimination they actually lived through.
So this ain't gonna be about. But this is going to be their reparations for the discrimination that they went through. This isn't going to be American slavery reparations, right?
It's not on a national level, it's on a state level. So anybody who's been in California for 6 months prior to 2020, let me read, because I got the card right in front of me. If you have lived in California for at least 6 months at any time between the years of 1850 and 2020. So let's say somebody want to do a gold rush. Oh shit, I'm a descendant of a slave. I want to move to California. It don't work like that. That's not how this works. You've had to been in California for at least 6 months prior to 2020. The task force rolled out their recommendations in 2023. Governor Gavin Newsom held back the bill in 2024. We went up to Sacktown, up there where TK is. We went to Sacktown 100 deep from charter buses. January 7th, the same day them fires broke out. We rolled up to Sacramento 100 deep from LA and walked through the hallways of the state capitol. We got everywhere except the governor's floor, which is at the top. So they know we meant business. You know what I mean? So people paid money. We shout out to Miss Stanton from EECI. She paid for the charter buses. She deserves a shout out. And we went up there to let them know we wasn't okay with what they did last year in 2024 when they held back. This was supposed to be done last year. Our elders were supposed to already have their direct deposit of that $1 million in their bank account. But once Galvin saw how much noise we made, and then shout out to Kendrick. Kendrick gave Reparations a shout out during his halftime show, 40 Acres and the Mule. This is bigger than some music. Don't forget Kendrick said that now on the biggest show on earth, halftime, Super Bowl. That's it.
So I know, obviously, he shut it down last year and stuff like that. And now, he's approved it. To my knowledge, I just want to make sure I'm correct. Certain things that was tweaked that was on the proposal in 2024 that's not, that's not on there now, correct?
Correct.
So I just want to make sure I get that out there because, like I said, just dealing with these people, they always got an angle. They always pulling some kind of bullshit so that they can have an excuse to try to say, oh, this or that and that. And, he knew he still had another year left in office then. Now he has less than 6 months. So he can escape that heat if something was to happen later. Basically leave whoever the next governor is with the mess. Let me address some of these.
It's only a mess to people who are not descendants of American slaves, which shows their lack of appreciation for the foundational group that built the country. They're breaking their necks and bending over backwards to come to.
Mm-hmm.
Before Ellis Island immigrants got here, our ancestors was already building this country, making it attractive for them to come over from Europe and other countries. You know what I mean? So these are the great-grandbabies of slaves and their children, as y'all president called it, the great-grandbabies of slaves and their children, and us. We're their great-grandchildren. So, but we want the people who had to live through segregation, which is right. It was in the 60s. The 60s was what, 60 years ago? So that you still got people who are alive that lived through that.
Mm-hmm.
But to your point, let me answer this too, Jamie. Last year, Governor Galvin told the Black Caucus, the Cali Black Caucus, to hold the bills back because he wanted to add some amendments into it. This year, in 2025, the chairlady of Cali Black Caucus, she included Galvin's amendments, and that's why that bill, SB 518, flew through all those different committees the way it did. Because she, a Black woman, she embraced all the amendments Galvin wanted. So now here we are.
Okay, so let me address some of these comments now. We actually got some of them and we hadn't been to it yet. So, Solo, you actually got a compliment. I highlighted that one. I don't know if you read it yet.
What is it saying?
Said Solo is so respectful even when we press her buttons and she doesn't agree. I can appreciate not getting cussed out.
We just on another platform. If you was to meet me on TikTok, you may get
I
cursed
was
out.
just about to say that. I'm about to say, you ain't heard her talk to me and I probably that motherfucker cursed me out every day. I don't know what you talking about. But yeah, I agree with you on here. You being respectful to the platform, man.
I'm always respectful. Don't try to act like I just be disrespecting you, please.
I just said on here, you be, but hey, other places not so much. That's all.
Whatever.
Anyways,
hey, can I make a quick correction? If you don't mind, let me make a quick correction because I got the postcard right in front of me. The task force was created in 2020. I said in 2023. I think maybe they completed their executive summary, and the rest of the what you call it, the package in 2023. So the task force was actually created in 2020. It says in 2020, California created a state reparations task force to study and then develop proposals for reparations.
Yeah, I remember when I was reading the bill, it was saying that, you know, it was first initiated 5 years ago after the George Floyd situation. So yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely.
All right, correct.
Support, you asked, are you streaming morning show tomorrow? I won't be doing a morning show, but I will do a night show. I got to go somewhere with my uncle in the morning. But night show, yes. I couldn't imagine going to do. Let me see. Ask Solo. Okay, I already asked that. Is there any ancestry qualification process?
Yes. So also on this postcard, this the source. If anybody saw, it's the leading grassroots organization called CJEC and LEAP. If so, to answer their question, you are a descendant. If you are a descendant of American slave or free black person who was living in the United States before the year 1900, you eligible.
And another one, 16 tons, said, does California have $300 billion? Not sure why he asked that.
I'm sure we can fact check that. Remember, California is the fourth wealthiest economy in the world. United States is number one. California is the fourth. And guess who's number 10? Descendants of American slaves, them Negroes in America. We're the 10th wealthiest economy in the world. So you got
how we don't own our own banks? We don't own our own schools. We don't own our own supermarkets.
We too busy popping bottles.
We don't understand finance.
Yeah,
that's our biggest issue. That's what I was touching on last time, and I'm actually going to dig in on that one on this next topic too. You know what I'm saying? We love to do a lot of complaining, but we don't have any discipline. That's our biggest issue. But let me finish these comments up. My granny is 98, and out of 12 siblings, it's her and 2 other sisters. I hope the day comes. Let's see if there's any questions in here. Another question. Solo, would you feel if Gavin Newsom was our president and Jasmine Crockett was our vice president?
I wouldn't feel no type of way. Jasmine Crockett ain't gonna get in there and have no power to do nothing. Just a black face and a high place, and we're gonna be in the same position that we're in today. Them two, like her being the vice president, isn't gonna move anything for us. She's gonna go in there and do the bidding of the Democratic Party. And I appreciate Jasmine Crockett. The only thing is the policies that I see her putting forth are for voting. Girl, black people need institutions. We need economic power. Who cares who we keep voting? We've been voting Democrat for years. What have we gotten out of our vote? What have we gotten from them for voting? So I don't want to vote on. I don't want you to pass another policy for voting. I don't care who we vote for. We're not going to change anything until we start voting our own politicians in.
I swear to y'all, me and Solo have not rehearsed this. But as you can see, she basically said the same shit I said in the morning show. That's what my issue with it was. I have a question.
You see, D?
What question are you talking about?
D, do you think reparations will be?
Oh, I hadn't made it to yet. I'm going in order. I don't want to skip nobody. I have a question. This is Dakari. I have a question. If somebody granny got $1 million and she spent it all on her sugar baby or deadbeat son, would anybody else in the family be eligible for funds in the future?
Every descendant of an American slave is eligible. There's going to be different rollouts for different demographics of the great grandbabies of slaves and their children. What I'm sharing with you all is the questions I'm receiving via text message from people that's in their 70s. They want to know, they got two questions. How soon will the Bureau be set up? And how soon can they expect whether it's a lump sum payment or installments of their $1 million? That everybody in my text thread right now, without violating their privacy, that's what they want to know. They're happy about the history and all that good stuff, but they want to know because their time is limited. They're already 70 plus. Some of them 76 years old, 78, some in their 80s. Like the person who question you just read, I'm not sure if it's DV or TK or SG. If your granny is 98, she want her $1 million ASAP. My yeah, it's all in. My granny is 98. Yeah, she want her money, before she clock out. And we wish her another 10 plus years. Shit, they say China got a damn solution that can keep people alive till 150. But that's a whole nother topic. We'll get to that on another show. Solo, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So now I'm on D. She said, do you think reparations will be in a lump sum or set up in installments since they know the highest payout will be the elderly?
Great question, D. And that's what the grassroots advocates and activists are pushing for now. So I can't give you a definitive answer whether it's going to be a lump sum payment or broken down into installments, but it should be fair to say that even if it's broken down into installments, if that person was to pass away, the remaining of that money should go to whoever survived them, their children, their grandchildren, their spouse.
Okay. And it said 300,065 or older in the state of California. That adds up big. Oh, so that's why you asked, do they have $300 billion? Got you.
Remember, there's less than 2 million.
Yeah, because I was just about to say it's not that many blacks in California.
It's not. This is a moral issue. So check this out, y'all. We got the legal issue out the way. The governor signed the bill Friday. So now it's a financial and a moral issue. You see what I'm saying? So California, black residents in California make up less than 2 million people. It's 40 million people in the great state of California. It's 40 million people in the great state of California, and less than 2 million of that 40 million are black Americans. Some of them are not black Americans. They're from Africa or the Caribbean. So that 2 million might even drop to 1.5. Who knows? Now, out of that 1.5, how many of that 1.5 million black Americans are 70 years and older? And that's who get their $1 million first. And then the money math calculate from there.
I don't know the answer to this question. Maybe you do. Kara said, all my grandparents and great-grandparents are dead. Who can I hire to uncover my family history? I mean, I know about the ancestry stuff, but I don't know how I trust that shit.
TK, you live in the state cap. So there's going to be a genealogy division.
Oh, he's from there. He's not living there anymore.
Oh, he's not. That's right. He do got Atlanta area code on there. So yeah, there's going to be a genealogy division to process everybody's family history. And to me, that's a cool part of it because now we get to put the pieces of the puzzle back together of our family history. Don't you want to know who your great-great-great-great-grandmother and great-great-great-granddad is? I can only go as far back as my great-granddad. I can't go no further because it cut off. You know what I mean? So, that's what the genealogy division of the Bureau is supposed to do. Help you verify your family history, going at least back to 1900.
Okay, DeMarcus, I'll make sure I put that, insert this until next Sundays. Because I think that is something that, should be addressed. Because I think we do, that's something, unfortunately, we do suffer with. So, yeah, I'm down with this topic. Solo, you was about to say something?
No.
Okay. Well, any more questions in regards to this reparation topic? Any more thoughts? Guess not. I'm gonna go ahead and roll on to the final one. We need more coming of age programs like Coalition.
Yeah, that's that Jack and Jill stuff, all in the cotillions, the Jack and Jill. Teaching our young ladies how to be women.
To my like what the well, continues not. I was about to say Spanish, but because I'd be seeing them doing stuff like that, but because I honestly I don't really know black folks to do cotillions like that.
It's the you remember that book America's Upper Class of Black America's Upper. So really, the high class blacks do it. That's why I said Jack and Jill. Jack and Jill is an organization of high class black people, and they host cotillions to teach their little girls how to be young ladies and young ladies how to be women and mothers.
Okay.
And that's something anybody can look up. It's called Jack and Jill, which is a historic black organization that's been in this country 100+ years.
His dog trying his best to get something. Anyways, though, last and final topic of the day, people, we got black accountability. And to me, that like basically what I'm saying is I think in our community, we refuse as a whole to be held accountable. Even when it's like good things that we know for sure will benefit us. Like whatever it is that it could be one another talking to each other. You know what I'm saying? Like a one black man to black man or black sister to black sister speaking to each other. And they can know it's the truth, but we're so in denial of hearing truth because it's not what we want to hear that, you know, we'll just go against it, find a loophole, try our best to be right, opposed to actually taking accountability. So, in my opinion, I think this is our biggest one, if not our biggest, for sure, one of our biggest faults that we have today in 2025 as black people. We refuse to be held accountable and we don't have any self-discipline. So I could go ahead and go in a little bit first on it, just to throw out a few examples of it. Like for instance, I'm the only one, well, actually Solo's here right now too, but she's been here I've been actually in Memphis for going on 3 months now. It's crazy. Going on 3 months now. And since this task force stuff has started, because I've seen mixed, because I've been kind of following, not following the news, but like, you know, looking on, because at this day and time, social media is going to give you everything for the most part. Like Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, you know, they're going to give you everything for the most part. And from what I could see, and I can only speak for myself, the ones that are complaining about what is going on with, you know, we got all the sheriffs, the state troopers, the extra police, now the National Guard has arrived. And the older generation, and when I say older, I would say 40 plus and up, tend to be pretty satisfied and happy with what's going on because they saying they're cleaning up the streets and they feel safer to be able to actually go out and do something without, you know, with the fear of, you know, somebody coming to rob them or, you know, harm them in some kind of way. And then you got the younger generation in the 30s and younger that's complaining about actually being held accountable, like you know, them making them have to have like, and then this is the thing, it's a YN. It's crazy we say this. I actually took a screenshot of this. It's a YN. He got arrested. I want to say he got arrested. I mean, not arrested. He got pulled over yesterday. And I'm just gonna read y'all, or if y'all want me, I can share it among y'all too. But this is a young guy who said this. This is his experience. Actually, I think it's best if I just share it on screen with y'all so y'all can see it. So give me a second to upload it on here. And this is just account. And I'm happy to kind of hear this because this is a younger guy taking accountability, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Basically, telling folks that like, bro, it's not what y'all trying to make it out to be. Like so many, a majority of them, they're not really trying to like harm the people and stuff the way they putting it out to be. They really just looking for the niggas that's with the shit. That's basically what this guy was saying. And this is a younger guy. Let me pull it up though. Where'd it just go? It's crazy. Oh, it's right here. Okay. All right. I don't know if y'all can read it. Can y'all read this?
Not me. That's small.
Yeah, I figured it was kind of small. Well, I'll just read it so that for the ones who can't see it. she come and said, y'all heard that little while, yeah. Anyways, last night I had a ticket. Hit pothole at 4 a.m. on Danny Thomas in Kill 3. Nigga in a fin high speed chase with state troopers and the feds. Now I'm gonna tell y'all, the troopers was cool, but the feds energy, they ain't fucking around at all. Troopers told me when people flee, they back off and let habitation get them, and that you're not going to escape the helicopter because they put a body heat tracker on you when you flee the vehicle. 3 dudes jumped out of the vehicle and went separate ways. All 3 got caught. Starting this week, they land out spike traps. Spike strips. They rather you kill yourself than kill somebody else trying to run. Also, they basically letting people go that don't have proper credentials. They mainly want the ones who out there with the shit. So the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I know a lot of them were complaining because they said, you know, they were getting arrested and stuff like that for not having the proper credentials, like he kind of said here. And the thing is, as far as I've been hearing mixed reviews on it. Like, you know, they saying certain people saying that, you know, they taking your car and stuff like that, but they're not arresting you. They're just making you go home and walk home, but they're gonna take your car from you. And then some of them saying that, but like I said, the younger generation mostly are complaining about it. It's because like they don't want to see the city be changed. It's like us as a whole. We're so used to, Taj, you know, I said this to you earlier. We're so used to pain that we rather just keep dealing with what we're dealing with than to actually allow something else to come and fix it up for us. And they make excuses the reason why, because we just refuse to be held accountable. It don't matter what it is. We refuse to accept accountability with anything. And I think if we allow that, we finally take accountability to the shit that we are weak at and not having, you know, and actually learn to have some self-discipline about ourselves, we would go a long way. So if any of y'all want to, you know, have a take on as far as us with this accountability, you can go ahead and feel free to jump on in.
Well, I want to clarify. So are you saying that Black people aren't taking accountability, and that's why we're complaining about the National Guard being in Memphis. Is that what you're? That's the point that you're trying to make with him
I
saying
will say this:
nobody.
what I am saying is that some of the people's concerns are absolutely valid because we know historically we have had issues with the police that just can't be disputed. But it's certain ones that are complaining about things like, man, it was a dude that I know, it was a younger guy. He probably was in his 30s, maybe. He was complaining, saying, man, Memphis been allowing us to drive without our license for 10 plus years, man. Now these folks want us to all of a sudden get our license and get our insurance and stuff, man. Niggas trying to go and do the but and that's the way I'm talking about with accountability. Like, yeah, you may was being able to do that, but you ain't supposed to be doing it. So that's what I'm saying.
So because I haven't been, so what does that? What does? Okay, okay, okay. I I I I
Speak freely. Go
just
ahead.
feel like we shouldn't have to take accountability for being overly produced. Now, the lack of action in our community is something that we need to. Uh, that's something that we need to take accountability for. But this whole scam for the National Guard, this money laundering scheme that they've put forth to attack the residents in Memphis, that's not the person who's driving without a license isn't the reason why the the National Guard is here. If they're not going to be solving some of this crime or preventing one of these preventing crime, then they're not doing anything. If they're going to say, we're going to arrest, we're going to check every person that's driving and make sure that they have a license, that's not doing anything about the crime in the state. So it can't be just, you know, we won't take account of. I guess I just disagree with that is something that we need to take accountability for because of the National Guard is here. We need to take accountability for the lack of action in our community, which is a result, which is ultimately why these YNs are down here acting a fool. Take control of our boys, our young men, when they get 18, 19, 20, 17 years old. How about we create a way for them? Because we haven't created a way for them, then we need to take accountability on that. But as far as like the National Guard,
Okay, so let me ask you this. I
what
can
is
agree
the
with some of those points
accountability?
you made, but this is another thing that these are just facts, and it's
In
sad.
your opinion,
You, you don't even know what I'm about to say.
because you never
No,
give
you
us
know what I'm about to
facts.
say.
It be your opinion.
No, what I'm about to say is an absolute fact. If you would wait
Okay.
some times, you would know that.
Okay, okay, go. Go. We're waiting.
What I was about to say is all of these cities that I'm about to name and that they're targeting right now are Democratic cities. And unfortunately, with all of these Democratic cities, most of them are majority black. So what I'm saying is that
So black people need to take accountability for that. I'm so confused. I'm confused on what your point is.
my
Because we're
point
talking
is,
about
regardless,
accountability in the
you're kind of
national.
proving my point to a degree, to be honest with you.
Well,
Because
tell us what the point is so I can be following you. So I could be walking down the road with you, following you. Because now I feel like I'm guessing. I'm trying to guess what your point is.
my
And if
point is that regardless, I just used that National Guard thing as an example because it was recent.
okay.
But what I'm saying is that regardless of if it's an issue in our community, we'll always have an excuse and reason why this stuff is going on. instead of owning up and being like, we could be doing this better. This is the truth. Let's try to straighten this out. We'll always find a loophole to put it on something else.
So, can you give us another example on lack of accountability? Because I don't understand the National Guard reference.
Okay, let me give you another one that's always going on with us. That we tend to avoid and try to act, put it on something else. Okay, here's the one. We already talked about. I don't know how I got an echo like now, but we already talked about how Black people, we Todd just said we're the 10th richest economy in the world. We spend the most in the country by far, yet we are the lowest on the mark when it comes to finances, right? And I said the reason why we're struggling so hard, I remember we talked about this last week, is because we lack the self-discipline to not be living beyond our means. Instead of folks just going ahead and agreeing to that, because that's exactly what it is, you made any and every excuse the reason why that was going on. That's another example of what I am talking about.
Do you really think it's financial literacy? Because you can have financial
A
financial
major part.
literacy. If you can have financial literacy, but if you're making no money, then you're just educated.
How are we making no money?
But
We're the 10th richest economy.
well, you're talking about us as a group. I'm talking about us individually. If you're saying that, let's, because I always go to the single moms, because those are the people that are struggling the most in our country. Single mom making $15 an hour living in Memphis. She paid all of her bills, her rent. Let's just say her rent is 700, light bill, food, all of that. She has financial literacy, but after she paid all her bills, she has no money left over. And there isn't another skill that she can obtain. There isn't another resources. She's already getting help here. She's getting help there. She know about money. She know how to save money, but she doesn't have the money to save. So she has the literacy, but if she isn't getting enough, she doesn't have economic power. If she doesn't have any type of money to invest in herself, what's the point of her having the literacy if there isn't money to left
Okay.
over for her to make decisions about?
Okay, so I wasn't gonna go that angle because I didn't want you to jump on me about that. But since you opened the
Well,
thing,
no, because the thing is because, like, I think that's that. I think you could say financial literacy for a certain group of us, but a lot of us,
it's a
it's the fact that
loss.
we don't make enough money to afford our regular living. Not that we're just out
You
like,
do know, let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. You do know if you I can look it up and pull the numbers up for you right now. You do know the difference between what the Black man makes yearly and what the white man makes yearly as a whole is a difference is maybe $5,000, right? You do know that, right?
so are you comparing the the 53% of white Americans compared to the 13% of black people?
My point is
No,
that
you asked me a question. You asked me a question, and you said there is only the difference between a few amounts. So are you saying that black men as a whole race, they only make collectively a few $1,000s less than white men? Is that what you're saying to me, Jay?
on the average is what I'm saying. Yes.
So if we calculated all the black men in this country and all the white men in this country, not the ones who are working, because you said collectively as a race, that there's only a few $1,000s between how much we are making and they're making when our wealth is in zero, in a negative. How is it? How is it a few $1,000s?
What I'm telling you is
No,
that
it's, no, I want no, I want you to tell me how is it that white men, the difference between what black men are pulling in and white men are pulling in, that it's a few $1,000s. Explain it to me. How is that possible? When a third of our men are subjected to our criminal justice system. So you mean to tell me that even with that, we're making just a few $1,000s less than white men?
yes, what I'm saying is it's like I'll use myself as an example.
But
Now,
you talking about collectively. I don't we're outside of the realm of us as individual people. You're talking about us as a race. So you would say this amount of black men are employed, this amount of them are earning this, but white men as a whole, this is amount of them are earning this is amount of them are employed. This is the difference between the amounts.
yes, what I'm trying to get to is that the money gap that's earnings on an average. Obviously, the top tier ones are exceeding way more than this. But what I'm saying is, on the average, everyday white American, everyday black American, the difference between the money is not that big. But the difference on the household is where the money is being spent. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm leaning towards, and I'm trying to explain.
So what, black men are spending their money in the household on bull crap, and white men are being more smart about the financial decisions that they're making, and it has nothing to do with the fact that the black man makes extremely less money than white people, white men.
What I'm saying is they do make more. I said that, but it's not so big of an amount that it should make that big of huge of a dent. The reason is, like I said, they'll go to fucking Walmart and wear some Walmart shoes and don't give a fuck. We got to wear, whatever it is we wear.
Well, it sounds like that's something black men need to focus on.
That's not a black man thing though.
But
That's a
that's what we're talking about, though. We're talking about black men.
no. I was talking about black people as a whole. I just so happen to single out that,
But you said that black men don't make that much less than white men.
which we don't. If you
And
look
then
up,
you said that the difference is because black men are bullshitting with their money, essentially, and white men are making better financial decisions because they can go to Walmart and buy clothes, but we have to go spend a lot of money on that. And I said, well, that's something black men need to figure out. Then it turned into all of us. How does that make sense?
um, Todd, you want to
Yeah.
jump in and you get what I'm saying, right? What I'm saying is that the difference of the finances, and I'm pretty sure the comment section is probably hidden too. The difference in the finance section lies more so in where the money is being spent. We've already proved that by me saying 3 Sundays ago about how much more money we spend than white people do. That's basically proving it right there. So the problem is where the money is going. It's not the money that's being made.
All right. I'm on my X feed pulling up some data. Let me see if I can airdrop it to my phone and I'm gonna text it to you. And it's saying when you compare the household, it's a $1 million gap. And this is directly from the US Treasury. So you were saying that black men compared to white men, we make $5,000 less than that, correct?
On average, yes.
Average. All right. So on a household, okay, it just came through to my other phone. I'm about to send it. This is from the Federal Reserve. Greater wealth, greater uncertainty, changes in racial inequality in the survey of consumer finances. And it's saying it's a $1 million income difference, household to household. Not black man to white man, but black family to white family. It's a $1.7 million difference. I'm going to text it to you now so you can have the receipt.
But absolutely, because our wealth gap. We
Right.
don't own anything. We don't control anything that
And
is.
I'm not saying that none of that isn't true. But what I am saying is we can't get to those points because our stuff is being spent on things that are not essential, things that are not necessities. That's what I'm on now. And what I'm saying is this falls under accountability and self-discipline.
Well, sound like black men need to.
All right. So let me read this real quick. This is from the Federal Reserve. Figure 1 shows large disparities in real wealth. The difference between assets and liabilities across families. So we're talking families, not individuals. Across families of different races in 2022, median wealth, the amount held by a typical family shown in the top panel, among white families was 285,000 in 2022. By comparison, the typical that's Asian. I'm trying to get the black. Okay, here we go. Black held, boom, boom, boom. Meanwhile, the wealth of typical black family is 44,900. So that's 285,000 of white household wealth compared to, let's just round it up to 45,000. 45,000 of the wealth of the typical black family was only about 15% of the typical white family. There it is. So I don't have the data on black man versus white man, but that's the data of black family compared to a white family. So that's 285 minus 4. That's $240,000 difference. $250,000 difference. I text you the receipt, so you don't think I'm making this up. I know you don't, but you get what I'm saying. And that's the wealth gap. So I'm not sure about the individual, man to man, black man to white man. I don't have the data on that. But that's straight from the Federal Reserve. The people that do our income tax. $250,000 wealth gap difference.
Yeah, I can believe that.
And if the black man is the head of his household, like I am, I run, like y'all know my favorite phrase, I run my house like I run my mouth, then we should be, leading by example, keeping our house in order. Even if it's a 2-income household. But they're saying based off that, it's a $250,000 wealth gap difference, 285 to 245. Let's see what they're talking about in the comment section.
So
what up, nephew? Kenny 2K. Tar said he chilling in the AC, he not jumping. I got that AC today, TK 2K. What's good, nephew? Back to you. Back to y'all. What's going on? Financial literacy. TK say financial literacy is key. It is key. How you spend your money. If they stop buying rims, new cell phones, jewelry, popping bottles in the club, they have more money to invest. D said redlining and minimum opportunities are a factor too. And that's why we just passed reparations. But there are some of us that should be taking that Jordan money and investing and stop being concerned about looking good first. That's a strong point, D. It's good to see you back in the chat. I saw Talia earlier. Talia must have had something to do this Sunday. So that's where we are with it.
Mm-hmm.
So I see a couple of comments, and let me clear up what I'm saying so that y'all can know exactly where I've said a long time ago, I think our very first podcast that I think is a scam with the National Guard. Never said that's not the case. I said that I believe that they're using this as an opportunity to be able to try to take the city of Memphis over. So yeah, I'm pretty sure y'all remember me saying that. That's not my point. You're going to a different direction. My point is that we're giving them an excuse to be able to get what it is we want. Take accountability and fix that shit so that they can't bother you.
They gonna
Because
figure out a way to bother you.
all I'm saying is if they're gonna do it anyway, don't give them a chance. Don't make it easy for them. A lot of these niggas are making it easy for them. Like I know niggas that got pulled over like what 3-4 days ago, 4 cars deep, choppers in there with no damn license. Went to jail. Like you know they here and you're still doing that. And we're not talking about break. See, that's the pain and trauma I'm talking about. What Ronald is doing right now. That's what I'm talking about. Because we instead of us seeing the bigger picture, we want to go to pain, talking about what we've been through. We understand we all been doing it.
Jane, let me speak on the pain factor. So pain, people can get a fix of dopamine from pain. That's how. So you made a great point with that, and they'll rather just dwell in their pain than use their pain as power to get stuff done.
Thank you.
That's actual. That's
You're
neuroscience.
saying exactly what I'm talking about. Yes.
Yeah.
Like we were over there talking about what we went through this. We understand that we all suffer from it, but we can never get out of it if every time somebody's trying to bring something to the fold and say like, look, this needs to be addressed as a whole, as a community, and we instead of us saying, yeah, you know, I can see that being a problem. Let's try to find a way to fix it. We resort over to, oh, they doing this and they doing this to me and stuff like that. How are we supposed to do that with, bruh? We got to get the shit done.
The people with pain, we got to send them to the city council meeting so they can project their pain on a mayor and a city council people. The people who know how to use their pain to move forward, we guide our pain with intelligence. All of us in pain, but that don't mean. So I just want to make sure that's clear that people are getting high off their pain the same way you might get a dopamine hit off cocaine or weed. And that's a neuroscientific fact that people use, whether they know it or not. I would bet that most of them probably don't know it, but that's why they're in that pain loop, so they can feel that dopamine from the pain, when the rest of us are using that pain to push us forward.
I don't know why niggas spend so much money on Jordans anyway. He already said he don't give a fuck about y'all. And see me.
There go Talia. Yeah,
I can take. Yeah, welcome Talia. And see me, I can say I don't buy a whole lot of them, but I buy J's here and there. I got a few pairs, but I don't buy shoes a whole lot. Like when I do buy shoes, bro, I'm like, all right, I ain't bought the shoes in a few, you know, in a little minute. Let me go grab me some. But yeah, I got some J's. Not gonna lie.
Nephew Kenny too. Now, so nephew Kenny 2K agree with you. You say I live paycheck to paycheck, but I'm still going to buy my shoes and take my vacations. I never know when I'm gonna die. I'm enjoying my life while I'm here. You have every
and I'm
right
not
to do
saying
it.
nothing's wrong with that. Do your life, do it however you want. But all I'm doing is pointing out the problem. You can do it with it however you want to be. You know what I'm saying? We can do whatever we want to do with it, but I'm just pointing out the problem. And the solution is financial literacy. We got to get better at that.
Yeah, as a psychology major from Southern University in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, I'm just sharing that fact, that neuroscientific fact that when you come across people that's stuck in that pain loop, and they all they want to talk about is the pain. We experienced a lot of that on the reparation trail, to where they just want to express the pain. So you got to direct that pain towards the people in power, which is the public government. While the rest of us use our intelligence and pain, we're using our pain too, but we're not using, this is my point, we're not using our pain to get high. Whether people know that or not, people are using their pain to get high. Y'all check that out. Scientific evidence. You can feel dopamine off pain.
I'm gonna address your comment, Ron. So the 20% more thing and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure. Because this goes to what I used to say on the other ones. I don't say this one a couple of times. Black people, we're not selfish enough when it comes to each other. See, whoever it is that you're talking about that's over you, that's able to, give his white counterparts that 20% over you, they're gonna choose they folks first. That's what they do. But see, what I'm saying is, if we can get our finances under control to the point that we're starting to own, we can start to do shit like that too. I keep saying it. All of them do it. It's a bust. And that's crazy.
All in, say my thing is saving something for my children and grandchildren, as a mother should. Talia say, I've been here the whole time, but cooking, doing hair and stuff. Plus, I tend to stay out of Bible talk. I don't know the Bible, so I was just listening. Let us know what some of your favorite topics, Talia. What topics you would like to hear us chop up? D is after that. I'll let you get D, Jamie, unless you want me to keep going.
Well, I don't know where you left off at.
I left off after.
I know.
Well,
you
DV
would think
said,
after the huge terrorist hit and China showed us that luxury items really cost, that folks would stop and invest or save their money. That's true. That is true. Hell yeah.
D,
nope.
D, that connects to the emotional pain. I know y'all probably getting tired of me talk about this, but that connects to the emotional pain. Black Americans and Black people in general, we have been made to feel like shit in this country. So how do we make ourselves feel good? We go and buy these luxury items to boost our self-esteem. Man. Now, DV said, how do y'all feel about the payday loans?
Payday loans?
They're predatory.
Good. Yeah. Go ahead, Solo.
They're predatory.
They're predatory.
Yeah, and it's a scam. You pay attention, the payday loans are always in the Black community. They do that shit particularly to scam your ass. Because I feel like, it puts you in the mindset when you know you can get a payday loan. Let's say you got a job at Walmart. You get paid every week. And, you can be reliant on them, going to get that little extra money right there. And each time, of course, they're charging you interest. So you losing more money each time you do that, while they just profiting off and feeding off us because they know we spend so much. That's why I keep telling you, all of these crazy stuff like the liquor stores, these goddamn, what else? That's crazy as hell. That's always in our community. These corner stores, these guys. That's the reason why they put all that shit when these foreigners come over here, particularly in our community, because like I was saying, they testing the market to see if Black folks gonna bite on it. If Black folks buy it, that means everybody in the world gonna buy it.
That's right. Finish your point, Jamie. I got a thought I'm holding on to.
I'm done. Go ahead.
You just made me think about, damn, I'm down to 2%. I need to switch over to. So on a peer review study, they did a study on that, asking, do brands market their luxury items to Black America on purpose for multiple reasons? One, to keep us in debt. Another, to exploit our $2 trillion spending habits from Black Friday to Thanksgiving. I'm about to drop out and switch over. I'll let y'all speak on that until I get back.
Okay.
All right.
I used to be an armed guard at check into cash. It keeps the customers in bondage for a long time.
Look at that.
Yeah.
That's from TK.
And you said title loans are even worse. Me personally, I never took out a title loan before. Definitely have done some of those damn payday loans, but I never had I never did a title loan.
If you live
Damn, Solo, I didn't know you were gone.
solo,
I didn't know you were gone there.
My bad.
But yeah, like title loans, I don't know. I don't really know, but I'm pretty sure it's probably under the same umbrella. So yeah, we need more financial literacy programs in our communities. There are a few in mind that teach about investing, providing laptops, and introducing kids to coding, etc. Appreciate the super. You said, would y'all rather have a credit card or get a payday loan? Credit
A
card.
credit card.
Right, it's easy.
yeah,
I mean, you asked that. Like you can actually benefit from a credit card. You can't benefit at all from a payday loan. Besides that little change that you need for that moment.
right.
The only problem is like I can only speak for myself, but I'm pretty sure a lot of us probably share the same thing. And solos with us going to the same school, I'm curious of and being from the same city and we're the same around the same age. Going into our TSU, how informed were you when it comes to credit card when you first came to the school?
Shit, I knew that it wasn't your money that you had to eventually pay her back. I knew that.
Yeah, we knew that, but like exactly, how it worked and stuff like that. Were
I
you
knew that they gave you money and they sent your ass a bill. And
so
basically, I knew I had to pay it back. I knew it wasn't free money.
right. But see, they get that's the hustle though. They do that with because I know you have to remember this. They used to be in our student center, pitching to us to get credit cards. I know Bank of America used to be there, Regions was there, um, a couple other ones, but you get the point. And most college students especially at a HBCU are broke. So the likelihood is you're gonna get that credit card and spend it on some stuff and not going to be able to fully pay it back immediately like that. So they get you into more debt that way too. But if you're taught, you know, how that shit work ahead of time, then you know how to move with it. But see, that's another thing. It's crazy that that's not part of our curriculum. You know, growing up, in grade school. And then another thing, like I think this is definitely something, if I was to have kids that I'm gonna do for mine is to, once they get a certain age, give them a card off you and let their credit be getting built up off your credit. I think a lot of us need to start doing that. So that when, they hit, when they finish in college, they already got an 800 credit score. I think a lot of us, I'm pretty sure our parents, either, maybe didn't think about it or just simply didn't know. Credit has to be God
My
dang.
bad.
Credit has to be managed. Payday loans is not, but predatory lending. If people read their credit card statements, they would see that the worst thing to do is make minimum payments. Yeah, because once you start getting that big debts up in them credit cards, man, them scores gonna start killing you. Please don't do payday loans unless you pay it off on payday. Yep. As soon as you hit 18, here come Capital One. Facts. Capital One be on your head. Credit cards have rewards. I spent about 20,000 a month in business expenses and get a couple hundred back in cash rewards. A payday loan, you can get charged 17% interest, which is crazy. That's a high ass interest rate. I haven't gotten a payday loan in a long ass time, so I don't really remember, what them numbers and shit are. But anything more else added to this accountability topic? Comments, panel?
I'm right back like I left something. What's going on, y'all?
Yeah, so I'm about to get ready to close it out. I want to get to finish, final remarks and stuff from everybody. Any takes or something that y'all want to add on or say before we close it out? I got to get ready to take my uncle somewhere. Yep, I tell my daughter now about credit and paying bills on time, meaning early before the due date. Yeah, like I feel like and I'm happy to see kids where parents now being more responsible and more knowledgeable of these things, so that our future can prosper with this stuff. Especially if this reparation thing turned out to really be something like that can be something if we use correctly to have it that our kids and grandkids would never have to, go through the struggle that we went through.
Absolutely. That's the purpose.
Yeah.
To build generational wealth. We was blocked from building generational wealth. And there's a lot of people who still don't want us to establish that. And we have to stand strong and know our stuff, know our knowledge, wisdom, intelligence to, hold our ground when people try to socially attack us for what we rightfully earn and deserve.
Well, look at this. Takari's giving y'all some game on trying to boost your credit. Says if you need to boost your credit, they have a couple websites that let you report private party rent payments. Boom.com and rentreporters.com. They even backdate the reporting. That's dope.
That's good looking out, TK.
Yeah, it is.
Appreciate that, DB. Dope Live U.A.N TV. Y'all already know we on our way to bigger and better things. Y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all here with us. And it's great appreciation for that to everybody.
Yep. Much love, like always, to my good peeps that come through. I don't think we got no new subscribers came through today, but it's all right, Also, if you have extremely bad credit and want a fresh start, you can get a legal name change and apply for credit at an address you never lived at. Damn. It's almost like so get a legal name change. I'm not too familiar with this. I know a couple of stuff about stuff like that, but get a legal name change and apply for credit at an address. So with the legal name change, my question would be with that legal name change, would you still be using your same SSN, your same social? Because won't they still link that to you? I'm just curious. I actually never heard that before.
Yeah, so now we done passed reparations. I'm about to switch back to my creative content. That shit was exhausting. I was a part of that movement for a whole year, and other people was doing it for longer. We mentioned earlier it's been going on for 6-7 years. So now, I mean, we got the state motto. I had put my creative stuff on the shelf, to be honest with you, and just kind of focused on dedicating my energy to making that happen. It has happened on a city level in that Chicago suburb. It happened on the state level, and now it's up to other cities and counties across the country to do their own thing. But I'm letting y'all know I'm taking a vacation break from that shit. So Wednesday, Jamie, if you want to pivot, there's like a different, we don't necessarily call Wednesday Reparation Wednesday no more because we accomplished it. It's done. We could talk finance, or we could make like whatever topic I would like to know from the comment section, or we can just kick it. It could be a vibe thing, whatever. No, but I really look forward to Wednesdays, but we don't necessarily have to beat the topic. All right.
Yeah. Get a self-credit card. You add the money to the card, and they report to the bureaus. Yeah. The secured way. If something goes to a collection agency, do not communicate. If you pay them off, it will still be on your credit report. Take the hit to the score. It will drop off 7. Yeah, he's 100% correct with that. I actually made the mistake before and paid off a crazy bill that I had. It wasn't that much. I ain't gonna say no crazy bill. It wasn't that much. But I owe like $3,000 to like something that I shouldn't have owed. That's the crazy part. I shouldn't have owed them because they scammed me on the car, but they got me binded to a bad contract, and it was just sitting there. And I was like, man, I got it. I wanted it off my credit, so I'm gonna go ahead and do it. This was a while ago, you know what I'm saying? And you feel me? I went ahead and did it and figured out that, you know, that wasn't even the best move to do. Should have just ignored their ass, like Ronald said, and wait for that shit to fall out. And it's another way to do it. And this is just crazy, we saying this at the end. If they constantly hitting you up and then you look at your credit and they done sold it to another agency, like let's say you owe Verizon, even though Verizon, they have their own private credit thing. I know about this, but I'm just using them as an example. Let's say they sell it to sunnycreditwise.com or some shit like that. You can get it written off by disputing it with the bureaus and saying that I never had a contract with them. And, you know, and that basically you demand that it be taken off your credit. And technically that's the truth because you never signed a contract with Sunny Creditwise or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You signed it with Verizon. So believe it or not, that stuff does work. I've gotten shit off my credit and my brother has done the same thing before. Taj them froze up here, I see. Well, I'm about to go ahead and check out, people. Appreciate everybody that stopped through because I see they don't. Solo them fell off and Taj is froze now. So, and plus, like I said, I got to get ready to go make an errand. But much love and respect to everybody that stopped through. And I'm going to catch y'all tomorrow night. I was actually just closing it up.
All right, that's it?
Yeah, I was closing it. I got to do something for my uncle. He waiting on me.
All right, we'll see y'all Wednesday.
Marcus is correct. Filing bankruptcy is not a bad thing else, too. He's also right about that. I was trying to teach that to my, actually, it's crazy. I was having that discussion with my aunties and my mom and them that filing for bankruptcy don't necessarily just mean a bad thing like y'all think it do. Due to the data breach, it's pretty easy to get a lot of stuff deleted. ChatGPT can help you write law-based credit despite letters. But anyway, though, yeah, I'm about to go ahead and get off here and stuff like that. I'm gonna holler at y'all tomorrow night. I'll also be putting out more content as for Force, you know, my character dev predictions and stuff like that. So be on the lookout for that. But and if you haven't checked out my one that I just put out earlier today, check that out. But I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow night. Much love and respect for everybody, and I'm gonna holler at you.